That was
Eagles had
nuts.
this in the bag and they lost? Like,
Yeah, that's
what?
exactly how
Yeah.
it felt. And there's no chance that that happens again against the Chiefs, but I'm gonna watch it because
Right.
part of me doesn't believe myself when I say that.
Sure.
Hey, just wanted to jump in here real quick to remind you all about our partnership with BetStamp. If you're ready to take your sports betting to the next level and you want to support our show, we highly recommend signing up for your next sportsbook through the show's Signup Expert link in the description. This will allow you to take advantage of many new user offers available. And don't forget to bet responsibly by tracking all of your bets and getting yourself the best odds through the BetStamp app. Back to the show! Hey, welcome into the Fantasy Flow podcast. How's it going, Andy?
Going good. How about you, bud?
I'm doing great. Yeah, it was another Seahawks W, this one in overtime. Uh, my initial takes from the game, I was just like, what a game. Like, it's hard to complain. I know we kind of played
Right.
down to our opponent's level. We were favored. We just barely snuck out of there with a win. But a W on the road is a W on the road. I don't know. What did you feel about it?
Oh yeah, I was hyped. I had one moment of doubt when we went for it on fourth down on our own, like 30 instead of getting the points. But besides that, yeah, I mean, killer game. What a good win.
Gino looked good. He got JSN involved. DK did his thing
Jason.
on that viral highlight touchdown. What more can you ask for, especially without Kenneth Walker? I was just like, yeah, let's
Yeah,
go. I don't care how much we win by.
yeah.
Seahawks can never play a
Charbonnet
normal
punching through.
game. Yep.
No, no. Yeah, Charbonnet punching through. DK getting the touchdown. JSN just catch after catch after catch.
Exactly. Yeah, week
Gotta love
one
it.
was a Tyler
Gotta love it.
Lockett week. Week two was a JSN week. And,
Mm-hmm.
that's frustrating for fantasy football. But for NFL football, you got to love it. We got three guys, and we're using all of them.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's great to see. Andy, what caught your eye around the rest of the league this weekend?
What a game from Kirk Cousins on Monday Night Football. Oh my gosh.
What is it? Was it a
Man,
good
what a
game, or was it just one good drive? I don't know.
oh just it's like you're riding the roller coaster of emotions with Kirk Cousins. It's like you're there. It's like you're him. I mean,
We got to get you a jersey or something, man.
I've been thinking about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that was a fun one to watch in my opinion. I think the Eagles really blundered that, but
Oh
man,
man.
the what else? What else? Let's see. Dallas getting rolled. That was interesting. Um, our
Yep.
game picks did not look so great.
We'll get to our game picks from last week at the end of the episode. But yeah, I really thought the Cowboys would bounce back in a big way. I thought the Saints had just beat up on some low level competition, but I couldn't have been more wrong about that particular outcome. And this entire week was just full of surprises, didn't you think? Just so many big upsets, and everyone's talking about how week one people overreact, and week one can be a liar at times. And you mentioned some teams played more in the preseason than others, and some teams had
Hmm.
more continuity than others, and that really played a factor. Yeah, we just saw a bunch of wild results from week two.
Yeah, everything we knew on week one, we just flipped it on its head, and there's week two.
Yeah, exactly. Totally flipped on its head, and I am all the way around on the New Orleans Saints after what they did to the Cowboys. My overreaction for the NFC from week two was like, are the Saints like contenders? Are they actual contenders? And it's one week, but when you look at what they did in week one and how they repeated it against stiffer competition, and then you look around the NFC elsewhere, the 49ers took an L, the Eagles took an L. 49ers are super injured, as are the Rams. It's just kind of like, why not the Saints to go to, like, I don't know, the NFC Championship game? Am I crazy?
Yes, I think you're crazy. I think they have a team ahead of them that's called the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, led by
Hmm.
Baker Mayfield. I think
Okay.
I'm gonna just repeat myself. That continuity, they brought pretty much everybody back on that Bucks team, and they brought a lot of people back for the Saints. Not gonna lie, but I think once those two play each other, we'll have a better understanding of what the Saints really are. Dallas has been known to have these weird, fluky games, lose to a team they shouldn't. Yes, it was at home, but I'm just pumping the brakes a little bit on the Saints. I love watching it; it's a great team to watch, but I think the Tampa win against Detroit was a lot more of a statement than the Saints beating up Dallas.
Boy, yeah, in 1 month we'll be able to see both of those teams go head to head, and yeah, you're absolutely right. That's gonna be. I mean, they've got to flex that into prime time if it's not already, because
Oh,
that's
yeah,
gonna have huge
definitely.
implications across the whole NFC.
Right. Right.
Did you have a strong take, overreaction maybe for the NFC from this week?
Yeah. It's regarding an NFC team. They may or may not be on your T-shirt there, your shirt. I'm gonna say that the Seahawks are going to be the last undefeated team in the NFL.
In the NFL,
In the NFL. Okay, hear me out. Hear me out before you give me your answer.
I gotta look at
Okay,
that
a
schedule.
lot okay, yeah, look at the Seahawks schedule, but I'm going to explain the other 2-0 teams before I explain the Seahawks. Okay, Buffalo, they play the Jags, the Ravens, the Texans, the Jets. There's a loss in there. Pittsburgh, they play the Chargers, they play Dallas, they play Vegas, the Jets. There's a loss somewhere in there. Houston, they play Minnesota, the Jags, the Bills, the Patriots. There's a loss somewhere in there. I could just go down every single team. A lot of these teams play each other. Chargers and Pittsburgh play each other this week. Minnesota and
Oh yeah.
Houston play each other this week. Kansas City, they play at Atlanta, Chargers, Saints. The Saints play the Bucks. The Bucks play the Falcons. Like, there is a lot of overlap of these undefeated teams, and you know who gets to avoid all of that? The Seahawks. They get to play the Dolphins, the Lions, and in Detroit, the Giants, and then San Francisco.
Yeah, that's not a easy schedule. I mean, the Dolphins and the Giants, sure, especially Tua's not going to be there, so yeah, those are probably both
Right.
easy wins, especially at home. But yeah, what about on the road into Detroit on prime time, and what
Oh,
about the
that game.
49ers after that?
No. You got this all wrong. You're looking at it sideways. You need to be looking at it front ways. The Lions game, we always make the Seahawks always make that a game. It either goes into overtime, last minute drive, and who comes out on top?
That's true. I
Seahawks.
believe I did forget that. I think the Seahawks have beaten the Lions 2 years in a row now.
Right.
Um,
And
Boy,
the
yeah,
49ers, they're banged up. It's in Seattle. It's Thursday night football. We could be undefeated going into that game. And guess who's not undefeated going into that game? San Francisco.
yeah. So much for my 17-0. That was brutal.
I'm just saying, these guys, like, they're going to be battling each other, and there's got to be a loss somewhere in first one of those teams. I get that the Lions is the biggest hurdle right now for us, but
It
if
is.
we can come out on top, I think why not us? Why not us?
I love the take. I don't agree with it, but I love it. It
Oh,
sounds
okay,
like a ton
okay.
of fun. Going to the other side of the league, the AFC, and again referencing um, our picks from last week, we had the
Mm-hmm.
Colts go to Green Bay against Malik Willis, and you and me, we were both extremely confident that the Colts.
Oh God.
And look, I think we were right about the Packers. Okay, they
Uh,
could not throw the ball at all. They had one fluky
no.
touchdown pass. I think Josh Jacobs had 30 carries in that game, and
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
the whole game. It was just the Colts just couldn't stop him, and they just kept spamming that same play call, and
Yeah.
that was all
Yeah.
they needed. They won the turnover battle, and Josh Jacobs did his thing. Um, but man, my take for the AFC is that Anthony Richardson is not good. And that's not to say he's a
Ooh.
bust or that it's over, but right now
Ooh.
he is playing poorly. It's just 2 games. I might be overreacting, but just statistically, he is doing things, particularly as a passer. He's doing things that starters don't do. He's completing right now 49% of his passes. 49%. 3 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Yes, he does some cool things on the ground as well. That was really mostly week 1. That's not even consistent,
Hmm.
apparently. Um, I don't know. What do you think about Anthony Richardson's performance and the fact that it's bad?
I think he looks like a rookie. I think he looks just as bad as Caleb Williams. I think he looks just as bad as Bo Nix. I think he looks just as bad as put in rookie name, and he's equally as bad, if not worse. I don't think him and the coach are on the same page. I think he's trying to be the superhero, and I mean, where's Michael Pittman in all this? Like, okay, sure, Alex Pierce gets loose and can finally have a decent quarterback throw him the football, but where's the guys that you paid? Where are they on your team to
Yeah,
help you
yeah.
win the
No, it
game? I mean,
seems like Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce has always been talented. He just hasn't always produced, and now his skill set lines up perfectly with Anthony Richardson's skill set, which is
hmm
throw it really hard, really far. But I just don't know if Anthony Richardson's skill set is lining up with Michael Pittman's because Michael Pittman is a good route runner and he beats guys at the catch point. But if that pass isn't accurate, what are we doing? You know, if he can't make those reads and hit Michael Pittman on a timing route, I'm worried. And yes, he is very young. This is basically his rookie season. Um,
hmm
he's kind of a redshirt rookie in the NFL, but
right.
I don't know. Week 1 just looks so great, and maybe I overreacted to week 1, and maybe now we're kind of seeing okay, yes, he is young. There's going to be some bumps in the road. Um,
Right.
but man, yeah, everyone was just so excited after that first week. Oh my God, he's going to be the next Lamar or the next Cam Newton, and it's just like,
Yeah. Give
man,
it some
he's just
time.
another rookie.
Give.
He's just another one of these young
Yeah.
kids who's just
He
gonna
is. He
mess it
is.
up half the time. Yeah,
Right. It's disappointing because that team, just like Chicago, is built so
yeah, they had
well. It's such
expectations.
a well
Yeah,
built team. Yeah, there's studs. There's guys on both fronts, on both sides of the football, and it's frustrating to just see them not use their full potential as a team.
yeah. No, I get that. How about you?
Well, I'm going to go spicy again. So you really liked that first take. I don't think you're going to like this one too much. So there's a bunch of 0-2 teams right now. There's Baltimore, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Denver, Giants, Carolina, and LA Rams.
I
Right?
already know where you're going, and
Okay.
yeah, because you looked ahead at the schedule. I've looked ahead at the schedule. Go for it.
Right?
Go for it.
Okay. So only one, the past 2 years, only one 0-2 team has made it into the playoffs. The one for each year. I'm gonna say, I'm putting my stamp on it right now. Cincinnati Bengals are winning their division, and the Baltimore Ravens will not make the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I don't agree, but I also noticed that in the schedule, they're both 0-2. They play each other in week 5.
Right?
The Bengals' next 2 opponents are at home against the Washington Commanders, and then they go to Carolina, and they are being given the privilege of playing the Panthers. So that's a
Revenge game.
quick 2-2 before they
Yes.
square up against the Ravens. Who are the Ravens' next 2 opponents, you may ask? the Ravens' next two opponents. The Ravens have to play the Cowboys next week, which that
Hmm.
I mean we're jumping ahead of us. That's in my things to watch for next week. That game, that's number one for me. And then after that, they have to play the Bills, who look like a top three team in the league right now. And then
Right.
after those two matchups, they have to go on the road to play the Bengals.
Look at Pittsburgh's schedule. As I just mentioned, Chargers, Dallas, Vegas, Jets. They don't play a divisional game until I think like week 12 or something like that. Like Pittsburgh is just going to be riding this gravy train and then all of a sudden it's just going to go bang and hit a wall. Cincinnati is going to take advantage of that. They're going to beat up on Pittsburgh. They're going to win against the Ravens. They're going to win. Cincinnati looked great against Kansas City, and I'm proclaiming it now that they're winning this division.
It was very promising. They went toe to toe with the reigning Super Bowl champions, and yeah, I think as a Ravens fan, they're like kind of my second team. I'm not that worried. Um, I'm worried about the schedule. I'm not worried about what I've seen from them. Yeah, they dropped a game that they should have won against the Raiders, but I think the Raiders are sneaky good, especially their defense, and
Mm,
just too many drives ended in field goals when they should have been touchdowns. That's kind of a quick,
sure.
not an easy fix, but they're right there, is all I'm saying. I'm not worried. And I know Bengals fans aren't worried. I don't think that's an overreaction to say that the Bengals are sitting pretty, despite being 0-2.
Right.
Let's dive into what transpired this week in our listener league. In our
Yes. Yes.
guillotine
Yes.
league,
Yes.
boy, I had kind of a scare. I think I was maybe third to last, and at one point I was projected to get chopped. And then Nico
Yeah.
Collins kind of saved me there at the end, but
What a
uh,
guy. What a game.
geez, yeah. I was looking at this earlier. Nico Collins leads the league in receiving yards. He has 50 more yards than the second highest through just two games. He's leading the league by 50 receiving yards.
That's why you pay the man. I guess. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I mean,
Yeah, no, I mean
that's
it's pretty crazy.
you
We
wouldn't
we thought
expect
that
that.
it would be a more even split between those three wide receivers, and it turns out Nico's the clear number one, and the other two
Yes.
are
Yeah.
just they're trying to get the ball where they can, but it just feels like the
Right.
ball's Nico's, and he's just letting them play with it for a little bit. Uh,
Right.
Man, so yeah, back to the Guillotine League. Unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to Omar. He was
R.I.P.
victimized, yeah, victimized by the whole CMC debacle. Uh,
Mm. Yeah.
Shout out to BAG3, who had the number one overall pick, and he decided to pivot away from CMC and go Tyreek. I was like, what are you doing? Really? You're going to go against the consensus like that?
Right. Right.
And I'm
But
sure Omar was thrilled to have CMC at the 102, and
he was. He texted me. He
yeah.
texted me. He said, "Hey, CMC at 2 ain't bad, right?" I said, "Yeah, that's pretty good." Nah.
Oh man, CMC combined with the Tua injury, and his team just
Hmm.
did not. They just couldn't save him.
Yeah, he had one player go over double-digit points, and that was Jerry Judy.
Yikes! Yeah,
That's
that's
pretty bad in a
it is. It
guillotine.
is bad, and it'll be super
That's a death
interesting to
sentence.
see. We're recording this on Tuesday, so we've all put our bids in, and we don't know yet what's going to happen. But I'm super interested to see what's going to happen with Christian McCaffrey, knowing that he's going to be out for a lot of games. But that name just carries so much weight. I know someone's going to bid $100 for him. I don't know. What are your thoughts
Oh,
on
I,
that?
I bet you. Oh, I bet you he goes more than 100 for sure.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think, and this is definitely a thing for those of you who've played guillotine leagues before. You know how it goes. Sometimes when players in situations like these, they're available maybe half of the weeks because the teams they
Right.
spend their money, they add this player, that player scores zero, and then that player's available again. So
Right.
we'll see.
Yep.
We'll see how that goes.
Yep.
We'll provide an update next week for
Right.
sure.
Hey, congrats on making it past week 2, buddy.
Oh, back at you. Yeah. Moment of silence for Omar.
The tribe has spoken.
All right, that was good.
Done.
And you're done.
And get dunked on.
Speaking of done, I think it's time for us to eliminate an NFL
Ooh.
team from the playoffs. Last week, we eliminated the Carolina Panthers, obviously.
Oh my god.
They're
Yes.
not making the playoffs. And now that we've had another week of games, we have some more information. There's a lot of 0-2 teams to
Mm-hmm.
choose from, it feels like. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I got one team, in all caps and bold and underlined, but I would love to hear your thoughts first. Which teams
Oh,
are you sure that we can eliminate? We're gonna settle on one.
sure. Sure, sure. I mean, I really just have two at this point.
Okay.
One of them being the Giants and one of them being the Denver Broncos. I was not having any fun watching that Denver Broncos game versus Pittsburgh because it was in the afternoon and it was next to this one amazing game with Kansas City and Cincinnati. But every time they red zone switched it over to there, I said, no, don't do that. So I'm going with Denver. I'm going with Denver as my team. That's not going to make the playoffs.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. No. I imagine both of these teams are going to be a selection of ours in the near future. Yeah. Congrats on that Steelers pick, by the way. That was a great pick. They were favored by a couple
Mm,
of points, ended up winning by a whole touchdown. That was
right.
very Mike Tomlin. I mean, who's got it better than Mike Tomlin right now? He's winning these gross, low-scoring defensive games, and he's loving every second of it. I mean, 13-6. What kind of score is that?
Oh my gosh.
That's the most Mike Tomlin
Just
score I've ever seen. I don't know. Bo Nix, he's a rookie. Maybe there's brighter days ahead. I can't say the same thing for Daniel Jones. You know, I
yeah. They did play better. They didn't have their kicker
well,
the
yeah, they
whole
played the
game.
Commanders. They played a rookie, one of the worst teams in the
Yeah.
league. I would hope they'd play
Yeah.
better, and they still lost. Like to me, that was the game on the early part of their schedule that they should have won, if any. It was like that was your chance. No one expected Bo Nix to go in and beat the
Sure.
Steelers, but for Daniel
That's true.
Jones to lose to the Commanders, you know, that head coach just
Okay.
got there, and Daniel Jones is on his second contract, and yeah, they lost to a
Oh,
rookie
that's just
QB.
saying those words out loud just gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, I mean, I really want to pick the Giants just because I think it's just franchise malpractice what they've done, and
Sure.
to me, that was a winnable game, and they lost it. So
Oh, that was a funny one. I mean, the Giants are playing the Browns, and the Denver Broncos are playing the Buccaneers. I think they're both going to lose those games. We can.
I think they're both going to lose those
I,
games too. Let me. So after the Browns, the Giants play the Cowboys, the Seahawks,
mm,
the Bengals, the Eagles.
yep. Okay.
I mean,
We'll give Denver one more
where's
chance. Let's.
where's the
Let's.
W? Yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't anticipate we can do the Broncos next week. Okay, if they don't show us anything against the Bucks, which they probably won't. Um, it's
Right.
just an order of operations thing at this point. But yeah, I say we settle
I
on the
agree.
Giants. How about that?
Okay. Giants, you're out.
All right, get gone.
Get gone.
All right, yeah, and interesting move by the Panthers after we eliminate them. They switch
Well,
quarterbacks, going to Andy Dalton.
that's that's got to be the biggest news of the week, hands down. I mean, no, it doesn't matter upsets, matchups, who did what to what team. That's got to be the biggest news of the week.
There are talks, in our group chats and in like First Take. They're talking about Bryce Young being one of the biggest busts of all time.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just
And what team is he going to go to next? Like, it's like, dude, he just got benched. It's not, they haven't cut him, but I saw on Pat McAfee, they were already showing teams of where he could be on next year. It's like, geez, like, I think they're going to keep him. Like, I don't. Do they really want to get rid of a backup quarterback? Like, I don't know. That just seemed a little
I don't
preemptive
know.
in my
I don't know.
mind.
And I was thinking maybe they're just taking him out and he's probably going to come back later in the year. They're just trying to develop him,
Mm,
keep him safe. He's clearly not helping himself or anyone else being
right.
on the field. So take him off the field, let him wait in the wings a little bit, learn from someone else's mistakes instead of his own. But you just look at the schedule for the Panthers. I got it pulled up. They're going up against Max Crosby and the Raiders this week, Trey Hendrickson and the Bengals the following week, and then the Bears defense, which I think leads the league in
Oh
like all of
gosh.
the defensive stats. So it's
Yeah.
murderer's row in terms of like I don't see them putting him back in.
No, I don't either.
Not
And
not not anytime soon. Maybe near the end of the year, but
sure, sure. Yeah. It's funny how Denver and Carolina, I mean, I don't have any stock in I think I have Javante in one league. I think that's it between the two teams, and I'm those teams are just automatic losses, automatic wins for the other team at this point. So they had to do something. I mean, it's better to do this now than in week 6, week 7 when you're 0 and 6, you're 0 and 5, you're 0 and 6. I mean,
yeah, we've
take him out and give a shot to win.
I don't think the Panthers will be competitive with Andy Dalton, but we've seen Andy Dalton play really competitive football, even in the
Yeah.
recent years. So I
Right,
don't think it's a
right.
bad move on their part. It was just a bad
Sure.
move to
Sure.
do all the other horrible things that
to,
they've done.
to draft him.
Apparently, yeah. Let's go ahead and flip the page
Okay.
to
Sure.
next week. Looking at week 3, we've talked a lot of schedule talk. We've been chopping it up in the
Yeah.
schedule, projecting
Yes.
forward, letting that inform a lot of our opinions and everything else. But let's get into it. Just zoom in on week 3. What are you most looking
Hmm.
forward to watching next week?
Yeah, as you've probably heard, I'm curious to see the undefeated teams moving forward. I think that's going to be the exciting storyline for me. So Chargers versus Pittsburgh, both really good defensive teams, both teams that love to run the football, take long possessions, low scoring.
That's the first thing I wrote down was
Yep.
Chargers Steelers, which both of those teams are not really that fun to watch. But I just love the battle for 3-0, especially between two teams
Hmm.
that no one really thought would be 3-0. And I specifically with this game, this is kind of the okay. Is Justin Fields viable? Because
Mm.
Russell Wilson is probably healthy at this point. They just keep winning, so they're not going to make that switch. But Justin Fields can really prove something to his own team and to everyone else watching if they can go and actually be a decent opponent here in the Chargers.
Yeah, yeah. John Harbaugh versus Mike Tomlin. I mean, that's going to be a battle of
Classic.
big brains right there. Yeah.
And then, yeah, the other thing
What
I
about
wrote
you?
down, yep, the other thing I wrote down for this week was just Ravens Cowboys. We've already talked about it, but just both
Mm.
teams got embarrassed in week 2. And now they're
Yeah.
going head to head, and one of them is going to take another loss, and that's just going to be devastating, no matter who it is. Um,
Right.
so I'm going to be all eyes on that. Just who bounces back.
Yeah. It'll be fun to see Lamar run all over the field. I think that's what's going to happen there.
I hope so. I hope you're right.
Kansas City on Sunday Night Football versus the Atlanta Falcons. We just saw Kirk Cousins on Monday Night Football. Get to see him again in prime time. Get to see how they handle the Philadelphia Eagles, and then they face the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, what a matchup.
Man, yeah, I just, just like you don't share my love of the Ravens, I don't really share your affinity for the Falcons, although I love Kirk Cousins as a dude. I just think he got lucky. I mean, if Saquon catches that, he takes
Yes.
another primetime L, and the entire narrative is different. But Saquon, it just bounces off of his paws, and he completes a couple nice throws. The offensive line actually gives him time on that last drive. I don't know if the
Right.
Eagles D was gassed or what, but he was comfortable. Boom, boom, boom. 7 points. And suddenly it's like, wait, whoa, what? Wait, it was a one possession
Oh,
game?
I know.
Like, what?
I know.
And then
I
suddenly they
know.
come away with the
Eagles
win. That was
Eagles had
nuts.
this in the bag and they lost?
Yeah, that's
What?
exactly how
Yeah.
it felt. And there's no chance that that happens again against the Chiefs, but I'm gonna watch it because
Right.
part of me doesn't believe myself when I say that.
Sure.
All right, last segment. We're doing the Fantasy Flow 4-pack of game picks. 2 from me, 2 from Andy. Last week I went 0 and 2. We've talked about that. All right, we're flipping the page. Week 3, I got the
Boo.
Buffalo Bills minus 5.5,
Ooh.
beating the Jacksonville Jaguars, who look terrible. This is just I
Yes.
just saw, the Bills look great and the Jaguars look terrible, and I'm just trying not to overthink it. The line was smaller than I
Mm.
thought. I said, okay, we can win by a touchdown. We can win by 2 field goals. The line's just 5.5. I'm taking the better team, who's on a high right now.
Sure.
What's your first pick?
Sure. Yeah, I think that's a good one. I would totally agree. My first one, I'm done going against this team. I've been kind of off of them all year. I'm going +3 on Green Bay Packers. I don't know how they're not favored against Tennessee right now. It's in Tennessee. It's a Malik Willis revenge game. Revenge game.
Yeah, I was talking about that with my
I
coworkers. This
I,
total
I don't get how
revenge
they're
game.
not favored in this. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense how Tennessee has the line there. So I wouldn't be surprised if that game gets switched throughout the week. Like betters are just like smash Green Bay, smash Green Bay.
Yeah. Oh man. So Packers +3.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, ugh, it's just so hard to pick Malik Willis to win another game. But
He doesn't have to win the
you're
game. The
right. We
defense
just
has
saw
to.
it. We
The
just saw
defense
it.
has to.
Yeah.
They have to throw up on the football a couple times, and then the defense gets the ball back. I looked at this matchup and I just said I don't get how Green Bay isn't favored. I mean, yes, I had my affinity for the Titans and Will Levis, and that has spiraled down the drain. But yeah, I can't not cheer. I can't not root for Green Bay anymore.
Yeah.
They're better than we thought
I
they
can't
were.
believe one of these teams has to win this week. So just taking the
Right,
team with the
right.
better defense, the better running game, the better coach,
Mm-hmm.
and 3 points.
Right.
That does seem like a very wise pick.
And you can't forget the better center that throws up on the football. I mean, what more can you ask for with a center?
That's if that's not intimidation, I don't know what is. My second pick, I took another favorite, Lions minus 2.5 against the Cardinals. Um,
Mm.
I just think that the Lions are
Mm.
going to bounce back. All they need to do is win by a field goal. The Cardinals, they beat the crap out of the Rams, but that's the thing. When you have a stars and scrubs roster and all of your stars are gone,
Mm.
it's just scrubs. And that's what the Cardinals beat up on last Sunday.
Yes.
Um, it was a total blowout. I'm
How
not
about
reading too much into it. I just think that the Rams are in a terrible, terrible place right now. And the Cardinals, they put together a great game plan, and it all came together. Their defense is plucky, but they're not going to beat the Lions. Sorry.
it's in Arizona? It's in a dome.
Jared Goff loves those.
He does. It's a little bit of a flight. I don't know, man. I'm just thinking like Arizona's pass rush was definitely a little bit better than we thought. Granted,
Yeah.
like you just
Yeah.
said, they're missing like three offensive linemen. The Rams are missing like three offensive linemen or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man.
Against
I
the
saw that, but
against the Lions offensive line, I think that
yes, yes.
the truth's going to come out this week, one way or the
Okay,
other, and
okay,
I'm siding with the Lions.
okay. I don't think that's a bad bet. What's the line? 5.5.
2.5.
Oh, 2.5. Oh, yes. Okay, smash and play. Hell yeah, heck yeah.
Just a field goal.
Yep,
That's
yep.
all they got to
That's
do.
yeah. I thought it was a little bit bigger. Okay, okay. I'm gonna go. I know I was just talking up Cincinnati Bengals, but they play the Washington Commanders, and I'm gonna take Washington at +8.
I like that you have two underdogs. That makes it a little fun.
Yeah, you're going two favorites. I'm going two unders. I mean, yeah, I've already talked about the Green Bay, but Washington, Cincinnati's going to win this game, hands down.
Hmm.
I think they're still trying to figure themselves out. We'll see if T. Higgins comes back or not. That would be nice for my fantasy teams. I would very much appreciate that. Um, but yeah, I think Cincinnati's going to win this game. But 8 points, that's a lot. I mean, we just saw the Ravens and Raiders. I mean, the Ravens were favored by
Yep.
9.5. Like,
I was just gonna bring that up.
yeah. So yeah, so I think this is a good, easy, give me the underdog and give me the points.
8 points. Anytime you get more than a whole touchdown, it's dicey. Just because,
Yep.
first of all, any given Sunday, like the Commanders have a chance to win that game outright.
Right.
God forbid something happens to Joe Burrow, or there's just a crazy turnover ratio that the Commanders, come away with. Special teams, fluke plays happen, stuff like that happens. But when you get more than a touchdown in the points, you start thinking about garbage time, and that the final score might not be reflective of the game. They could get
Yeah.
spanked, and then garbage time they score a touchdown in the last minute, and suddenly they only lose by
Right.
7, and you win your pick. That's how I was hoping I would win
Yeah.
my pick when I took Raiders plus 9.5. That's not how I won my pick.
Right.
I won my pick because they won the game. But anyways, I
Right.
think that's smart
Yeah.
too. I would.
Yeah. Jaden Daniels looks okay, but Brian Robinson, he looks good. Austin Eckler,
That's true.
he looks good. They got some spunk in there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I need to watch more Commanders, and yeah, this week sounds like a good week to do it. But man, Jamar Chase, yeah, I think I would just take. I
What's
don't.
going
I don't
on?
have his lines in front of me, but I think this is going to be a big squeaky wheel game. I think they're going to feed him like crazy this
Mm,
game. The Commanders have a terrible
mm,
secondary, and whatever the over under is for his receiving yards, I would take the over. I think it's going
sure.
to be a big chase game, and they're probably going to win, and he's probably going to
So
be the reason why.
yeah, he has 11 through 2 games. He has 11 targets, 10 catches for a total of 98 yards.
It's been bad. Yeah,
It's been bad.
it's been
It's
bad,
been
and
really bad.
he
But
didn't practice, and he just threw a tantrum on the field last week. Cost his
that
team
was so
dearly.
stupid.
And
That was so stupid.
what are they gonna do? Bench him? Like I don't know. I think at this point he has
No,
his
no.
legs under him. He's in the rhythm now, and he's absolutely pissed. And I just think he's gonna take it out on the poor DBs for
Yeah,
Washington.
they need T Higgins to come back so they don't get to double Jamar the whole game.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. They need someone else to step up there.
Hmm. But yeah, Joe Burrow's definitely stepped up. Zach Moss, you know, does his thing from time to time, but
Yeah,
yeah,
this is a
they
defense
got to
that he
get
could run through as well.
right, right. Okay. So, Austin, I got a quick question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
What is a highlight trade of yours that you have made so far in any of your fantasy leagues?
That's a great question. I'm in a few of them. So far in redraft, I've just started to send a couple offers out there. I have Mark Andrews and Brock Bowers on the same team in a redraft league. So I'm
Mm,
trying to move one of those guys right now. Haven't been able to, but in Dynasty, before the season, I traded away Jordan Whittington, backup wide receiver on the Rams, for some peanuts. And I thought those peanuts were cool because I picked him up for free, and someone wanted to give me
right.
some peanuts for him, and I was like, "Oh, cool! I like peanuts." And now Cooper Cup and Puka Nacua are gone, and I'm like,
Oh no.
"Oh man, just what
Yeah.
are the odds that he would
Right.
suddenly be
Right.
starting in week 3 of his rookie year?" So that one's a bummer. But then,
Starting and getting the ball.
yeah, yeah. But in that same league, I recently traded away my future. It's technically a first round pick, but there's 32 teams in the league. So you think of it as a pick
Right.
somewhere around pick 24 to 30 in next year's draft for Jordan Mason. And I made that trade right before they announced Christian McCaffrey was going on IR. So I feel like I kind of snuck in there, and it looked like an overpay. And then after they made that announcement, it didn't really look like an overpay, especially not after he scored 20 points and won me this week. So, when you're a contender, you got to do what you got to do sometimes in Dynasty. But
Yes, you are very much a contender in this league that I am also in with you, and I didn't even notice the trade. That's how under the radar it was. Is I had to go back and look and like, oh yeah, my gosh, you did pay this price. I'm surprised he didn't ask for more. I even said that to you in a text. Like, he could have just asked for another nickel or two, and
I would have given it to him.
and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I think that is a killer trade for your team. You lost Kendrick, or you lost Ken Walker for a couple weeks, so
Yep.
this guy just fills in right away. And yeah, you're going for the goal. You're going for back-to-back victories. So
Yeah,
I think
and
that was a
that
smart
other
move.
team's totally rebuilding, so it was a win-win. Um,
Sure.
but hey, how about you? You made any spicy trades in fantasy this year?
In this same dynasty league, I acquired T. Higgins for a first and a third during the off season. So that really set my team up for some more starters. But speaking about T. Higgins, I traded after week one. I traded away Terry McLaurin in a redraft in a 12-man half PPR. I traded straight up Terry McLaurin for T. Higgins,
Wow.
and I haven't seen any return, obviously, since he's been out.
Well,
But
they
man,
probably
like,
scored the same amount of points last week.
yeah, I think Scary Terry had 10 points in that league. Definitely didn't help the guy that picked him up,
Yeah.
put him in his starting lineup, and didn't help him at all. So I feel I feel really good about that move personally. I think T. Higgins. I have a lot of stock in T. Higgins in a couple leagues, so I'm really banking on him. But I just don't think Washington's gonna. I don't think Jaden Daniels gonna be throwing the ball. So why not get rid of this high-profile name player and go get somebody that's actually gonna get the ball thrown to him whenever he comes back? That was my thought process.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're not ever gonna start Terry McLaurin, then like, what's the difference? That's how
Hmm.
I look at it. If I have an asset that I'm never gonna start, that like I look at it and I'm just like, oh God, I hope I never have to put that player in my lineup. Well, then, then
Right.
then what's he doing on your team? If you can get value for him, get
Yep.
value for him. So that's
Yeah.
great. In
Yeah.
Dynasty, this is a make or break year for the man himself, T. Higgins. So
Hmm.
he's on a
Hmm.
contract year. He
Truly.
needs to come back from that injury and he needs to do work, or else his fantasy stock could skyrocket and it could fall off a cliff. So
Right.
I'm rooting for
Right.
you on that one. We'll see. Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how he does. But yeah, no, nothing else crazy. Highlight player for me this week was Hunter Henry. I knew he was going to
You started
chop
him.
up the Seahawks. Oh yeah, yeah. In our tight end premium
Oh
superflex
man,
like
I didn't
crazy
even look
league.
at that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I knew he was. I just had that. He always chops up the Seahawks, and sure enough, he did it again.
That's
So
crazy. That's crazy.
um,
Yeah, I got
yeah.
destroyed in
So
that
he
league.
came through. Gotcha. Any highlight moves or starts that you wanna give your props to?
No, no. Honestly, every time I lose, it's the player's fault, and every time I win, it's my. Every time I win, it's to my credit. So it's I don't really have
Yeah,
many
yeah,
props
yeah.
to give. They did their jobs, the ones that scored points.
Sure,
But yeah, I picked
sure.
them.
The ones
So
that did something.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
no, no.
Okay. Okay. I like it.
I had Kamara in one league. Everyone who had Alvin
Oh yeah.
Kamara
Same.
won their
Yep.
league.
Oh.
Uh,
Oh. Well.
oh
The
no,
guy I traded T Higgins for Terry McLaurin.
yeah,
He had Kamara and he still lost.
no way. Four
Yeah.
touchdowns
Yeah.
from
It was
one
crazy.
player.
It was crazy. To my wife, to Marissa. He lost to my wife.
That's absolutely
So
wild.
in
I can't believe that.
yeah,
No,
yeah, I was just as shocked.
I already gave Nico Collins some flowers earlier this episode, but yeah, he
Oh
he saved
yeah.
my buns in a
Yeah.
couple
What a
leagues.
guy.
Yeah, no, he's.
Yeah. Yeah.
I drafted him in a lot of places, and that's paid
Yeah.
dividends so far. But
Yep.
anyways, looking
Yep.
forward to week 3. My wife and I are going to be there at the Seahawks game. We're going to represent.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, when you have the opportunity to pay hundreds of dollars to watch Skylar Thompson, you got to do it. So
I don't know, man. It might be Tyler Huntley. I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked.
that's true. Yeah, I mean, you got it was a Thursday night game, so they got 10 days to prepare, 10 days to, coach him up and get him in there. I think we're going to see some
That would be
creativity.
fun.
You know, this is a strong coaching staff.
Yeah.
They're going to probably find creative ways to get Tyreek Hill the ball. And
Right.
it's always a
Right.
stout defense. So I expect it to be a game. I expect the Seahawks to
Oof.
win. I expect to have a lot of fun. So, yeah, you'll
Yeah. Good. Good.
if you're listening, you'll hear more about that next week. But
Sweet. Looking forward to it, man. I can't wait to hear about it.
alrighty, yeah. Thanks for hanging with
All right.
us, and we'll catch you next week.
See ya.
Thanks a ton for making it to the end of the episode. You're a real one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That's a free, easy way to support the show, and it really helps us out. And leave us your comments down below if you're on YouTube, or send in your questions at thefantasyflowpodcast@gmail.com. Until next time.